Bass Chicks and Bass Dudes. This is your girl here, Holly Franklin Bass Chick, coming at you with a new video today. So in today's video, I'm going to give you 9 ways to improve your bass playing. And to be totally honest, this kind of came about because we sometimes lose motivation if we're in a particular cycle of our life or if certain external things are going on. I'm in winter time right now, so there's snow, it's kind of dreary and kind of dark out, so I tend to lose some motivation and want to just not play bass all the time. And so even I lose motivation to play bass and, learn things on bass. So it really is important to remember these key items that I'm going to give you if you start to feel like you don't want to play or you are not happy with your playing. These are really great tips for you. So tip number 1 is learn music theory. Now, music theory is a very important part of your training as a musician, even if it's just learning scales, because it really helps you write songs, learn songs, and understand how music is formed. And I think sometimes we tend to forget how important music theory is to learn and understand. Now, if you've learned music theory and maybe you need to have a refresher or you're completely new, I have a book, in case you didn't know, called The No Nonsense Guide to Music Theory, Scales, and More. And in this book, you can learn scales and how to read music, how to write music, different musical terms, what different notes are, progressions, lengths, key signatures, time signatures, all these things. Because especially if you want to learn to read music or be better at ear training or write your own music or just jam, it really is important to understand music theory. Now, my book is more of a beginner guide, refresher type guide if you're new or you want a refresher on music theory. Honestly, Amazon has a lot of books out there that talk about advanced theory, intermediate theory, and I have a ton of theory books and a ton of bass books because education is so important and learning is lifelong. Tip number 2, work on or learn a new technique. So sometimes we get comfortable with our playing and we don't always want to go outside the box or learn a technique that may be a little bit more difficult or require a bit more time and practice. But honestly, as a musician, you should always try to make sure that you are up on your game and you're able to play different techniques and things like that. So something that I did a few years ago was I relearn slap pop because the first time I had played it, I had a teacher and I was a teenager and self-conscious like we all can be, and especially even if you're not a teenager and you're playing bass and you're not been playing very long, you're new at it, you can become very critical of yourself. And if somebody kind of comments negatively about your playing, it kind of puts a damper on your spirit and on what you're playing. So they kind of made some comments about my slap pop being a little loud and just not sounding great. And so I was like, I don't want to do slap pop anymore. I don't want to learn it. And then a few years later, I was like, you know what? I'm going to conquer this technique because I have the confidence to do that. And I know I can do that. And through consistent practicing and just really getting into the technique and not giving up on it, I became a lot better. So if there's a technique that you want to learn or that you're having a really hard time with, I would just say stay consistent and don't give up. Tip number 3 is learn to read music or enhance your music reading abilities. So this goes hand in hand with tip number 1, learning music theory. And it's really important if you want to be in like an orchestra or you want to be a studio musician or you just want to write music or anything like that. Learning to read music, you will better understand how fast the notes are, how slow you have to play them, how fast you have to play them, different types of tempo markings and things like that. It's just really cool just to read music and know how to read it. And even if you just want to do it for practice, I think it's a really great resource. I personally don't have anything in my life where I would have to show up and read sheet music. So for me, I do like to do it just to keep up with my practice, and I like to look up Vivaldi. The Four Seasons is online. There's free sheet music online, And Bach is really good. I do have a Bach book at my house that I like to reference and practice with. It's easy, but it's challenging. It definitely requires to really focus on each note and each pattern and everything. But there's a lot of free sheet music online. There's sheet music with transcriptions as well. So if you are new to reading music and music theory, those are really great options for you as well. Number 4. Now, number 4, I really suggest, if you have the resources financially to do it, get private lessons. Private lessons are a game changer, and I swear, like, they really help with your bass playing. And especially if you're newer at it, I really highly suggest finding a good bass teacher to help you. Now, in your community, at your local guitar store, generally they have bass guitar teachers, so you could go there for lessons if you want to do in person, but also you can find teachers that will teach you online in the comfort of your own home. Now, Bass Musician Magazine has a lot of resources and teachers that are willing to teach you, so if you want to take private lessons, if you have the financial ability to, I would highly suggest it, because they will teach you how to properly hold your bass, play your bass. They will kind of tailor how you want to play and be as a musician to what you want. So it's kind of like you get to have this person help you navigate you towards what type of bass player you want to be. And sometimes you don't know. Sometimes you're just kind of like, I just want to learn to play bass, and then you kind of navigate on your own. But private lessons really are a game changer, and I would highly suggest them if you are able to do so. So tips 5 and 6 are very similar. Tip 5 is listen to your favorite songs. So listening to your favorite songs can really motivate you to want to play, because it kind of puts you in a good mood. It's like, I love this song and I want to play now. It just kind of motivates you. And then tip number 6, learn the bass line to your favorite song. So sometimes if I'm in a rut and I'm like, I don't know what to play today, I'm not really feeling motivated to play anything, and I'm like, you know what, I'm just gonna put a song on, and all of a sudden it's like I start playing bass lines because I'm like, I like that bass line, or I start playing around with the type of bass line that they have in the song, and I start creating my own song. So things like that can actually get you out of that rut and motivate you to play and have these amazing ideas and amazing jam sessions. Tip number 7 is watching videos on your favorite bass players and bass teachers. I feel like this is super important because, especially if you can't afford private lessons, you can learn little tips and tricks from your favorite bass players and bass teachers. Even something as simple as Billy Sheehan has a video from the 80s that is so relevant even now. It's incredible how music and bass playing can stand the test of time. He just talked about something as simple as when you put your guitar on the strap, making sure it's adjusted so that whether you're sitting or standing, it stays the same. It's a very good thing to tell people because you don't think about that. So just little things even like that is really cool to learn and will improve your bass playing. Number 8 and number 9 are both similar. So number 8 is jamming with friends. Now, with our current situation, it can be more difficult to jam with friends. I'm very lucky that I get to jam with my bandmates. We don't do it every week, but I still get to see them pretty much every other week. And it's just sometimes they just play a random riff, and I just start playing stuff on my bass and just kind of flowing with that and putting fills in. And we also work on music, and so it's just a really great way to be comfortable playing around other people and really just getting yourself out there as a musician. It really is important to play with other people. Now, it can be very intimidating, and that's why it's like, if you know anybody that you're comfortable with that's a musician, that's a really great first step, is to just jam with them. And then from there, you can go to tip number 9 and meet other musicians in your community or online that you want to jam with. So a lot of times you don't know them, or it could be a friend of a friend or anything like that. So especially with how everything is now, the internet is a really great place to meet people. And so you can jam virtually with people. And that's a really great way to kind of get out of your comfort zone as well. It's okay to stay in your comfort zone, but I really suggest getting out of it a lot. Just kind of having a sort of tension on you to just keep getting better. And jamming with other musicians is so key to doing that, and I highly suggest it. And in that too, with jamming with other people, you can pick a couple songs that you want to play just so that you all are comfortable and you're not just like, okay, let's have a jam session. Because sometimes that can be kind of awkward, and if nobody knows what to play, it kind of doesn't go anywhere. So having songs ready to go is really key. I hope you guys enjoyed this. It's a lot of talking, but I feel like it's really important to sometimes just write down what we have to do to improve our bass playing, to be better bass players, better musicians. And so I really hope these tips help you. Please let me know if you've used any of these in your lives, and I'm so glad you stopped by and watched this video. Watch the other Bass Musician Magazine videos, they're incredible, and I'm so thankful to see you here today, and I hope you have an awesome day.